this big win off tonight.
Hurricanes will kick it off. Owls to receive, and we're underway. Taken from about a yard out of the end zone. This is Kerrith White, and he's got a nice hole across the 35-yard line and just shy of the 40. So Florida Atlantic will send their high-powered offense onto the field, and they are led by Jason Driscoll, the young sophomore quarterback, a dual threat who can pass the football, but last week against Southern Illinois showed that he can run the football as well.
But coaches like his ability to move around in the pocket. What they want to see from Driscoll this afternoon is to go through his progressions. You've got a lot of athletes from Miami, so you may have your initial thought process covered up. You've got to go through your progressions and try and find an open receiver.
First down and 10. First play from scrimmage. Owls toss it over the middle. It's complete. Good start as they've got it to the 45-yard line. Tyler Cameron, the big tight end, makes the catch, and the middle of the field going to be key for Driscoll to attack as Jamal Carter made the stop.
Well, the interior of that offensive line, the two guards in the center, have to be stout. They cannot allow McIntosh and Norton to disrupt the quarterback in his face.
Now they'll run it left. This is going to be tough for Buddy Howell. The junior had a big week last week, but he was stopped by Demetrius Jackson before he got to the sideline. Howell, 128 yards a week ago, 2 touchdowns rushing on the ground.
But what he got was not consistent yards. He had big plays. What they have to do with Howell, he needs consistency in order to take control of this ball game.
4 wide receivers now on 2nd and 12. They flare it out. Here's Howell, and he is going to be stuffed just shy of midfield. So the Hurricane defense bringing the speed.
And watch Rayshawn Jenkins, the free safety on this play. He fights through the receiver. He does not allow the receiver to block him, and he gets to the ball carrier and gets him down. That's what you have to do. You cannot let these receivers block you on the outside. You've got to get up and try and force the play back to the inside where the pursuit will be coming from.
Rayshawn Jenkins made the play that time. Crowd comes alive on 3rd and 16. Driscoll with plenty of time, looks right, fires, and it's caught at the 37-yard line. That's about a yard shy of a first down, but reeled in by Caleb Woods.
And this is an example of what Driscoll can do when given time in the pocket. You see him, he's able to set his feet and deliver a high ball, but the receiver did a good job of high pointing the football, squeezing it, bringing it down, and keeping his feet in bounds.
They're going for it. It's 4th and short. Direct snap time. And the Owls going to pick up the first down. So with nothing to lose, this is the type of football they're going to have to play tonight. They'll move the sticks.
Well, those are the plays that defensive coordinator Manny Diaz talked to us about. They have every trick in the book. So you've got to be on your P's and Q's, have your T's crossed and your I's dotted on defense, because they'll run a play out of any type of formation.
It's a very young Owls offense that we're watching here tonight. Driscoll, the fake on the sweep. He's got a man open, but it's dropped by Howell. Oh, he had room to run at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, but if you watch Howell, he was scared. I think he saw footprints coming up. And I won't say he was scared, but he knew somebody was coming up and put a hat on him.
Here's the 4th down play.
Well, you see the quarterback, he's walking like he's giving directives, and they get the direct snap to Howell, and he's able to get the first down. The defense has to be on the lookout.
Driscoll under pressure this time, and he's going down. R.J. McIntosh and Chad Thomas combine on the sack.
And this is what Miami wants to do. They want to create confusion in the middle of that offensive line. You see them with a stunt. They come around the edge. The offensive linemen get confused. That's what you want to do when you bring a blitz package. You want to confuse the lineman so you can get a free man who gets a free shot at the quarterback.
Brings up another 3rd and long. Canes now showing blitz, trying to get to the young Driscoll. Line does pick it up, and a flag will come down. Looks like somebody moved early, and it was the left tackle.
Ball start, offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Florida Atlantic has had to reshuffle that offensive line. Dylan DeBoer, the left tackle, gets the start tonight. They lost their left tackle, Reggie Bain, to a car accident just a few weeks ago, so they've had to definitely mix and match in that area.
Well, DeBoer is a versatile player. He's played right tackle, he's played center. He's one of those handyman type of offensive linemen. He can do it all.
Makes him third and around 20. Play clock down to 2. And a crowd going to cause the delay.
Ball start, offense, number 65, 5-yard penalty, third down.
And number 65, Tarek Thomas, is an interesting player. His dad played at Florida State. He played 4 years in the NFL. And I talked to his dad this week, and he told me to watch out for the matchup between him and Kendrick Norton. They're second cousins, and they've looked forward to this game all offseason. So I want to be able to watch that matchup when it happens.
Howes will just try and get some of this back. Here's Howes spinning to the 43. So Owls will send the punting team on the field for the first drive. Not bad here to start the game.
Well, you use a little bit of clock. You kind of get an idea of what you can do. I saw some plays that they missed. There were some seam routes that Driscoll didn't hit. I think the coaching staff will see that. You have to wonder, will Miami's defensive coaching staff address and adjust to what we saw offensively from FAU?
Dalton Shop to kick it away. Braxton Berrios, so dangerous for the Hurricanes. It's blocked. The ball is loose at midfield, and Miami makes a big play on special teams. R.J. McIntosh got in there and got a hand on it.
And I tell you what, the big fella makes plays on the defensive line during offensive snaps, and now he makes a big play. He splits the offensive lineman, then he splits the personal protectors and gets that big paw up there at 6'4", 290. You got to hunker down and you got to get in front of him and block him. Great job locating the football and getting this big paw up there and getting that down and knocking that ball down, giving Miami great field position.
So Hurricanes on the field led by Brad Kaya. Mark Walton is in the backfield. We'll fake it to him. Kaya looking over the middle. Avoids one rusher and now tries to create some time. Fires incomplete at the 48. As Burden did a good job in coverage, so it'll be second down and 10 for Mr. Kaya out of Los Angeles, California. Coach Rick just loves his leadership. Last week, not really challenged in that opener against FAMU. We should get a better look at Mr. Kaya here tonight.
And that was a great job by the defensive end, Hayden Nagel, putting pressure on Kaya, not allowing him to set his feet.
Canes handed to Walton. And Mark Walton, now a sophomore in the backfield for the Hurricanes, stopped by Jalen Young. So Trey Hendrickson, the tremendous defensive end for Florida Atlantic, nearly went to the NFL last season, and this is one of the top pass rushers in the country.
Preseason Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year. I'm interested to see the blocking schemes that they use to slow him down.
Third down at about 7. Canes will run it again, and they'll pick up the first down. It's Walton taking it to the 40-yard line before Young made the stop.
And the great thing about Mark Walton when he runs the football, he presses the line of scrimmage. He doesn't dance around. He gets it, he sees the hole, and he goes. Watch him as he gets the football. He goes right now. He presses, and you have to react as soon as you see him get the football.
Miami once again stacked at the running back position. Last week, all 3 of those running backs over 100 yards rushing. Kaya now with time, and this one's going to be tipped away. That is good coverage at the 34. These defensive backs are solid for FAU. Raekwon Williams got the hand on it that time.
And what is interesting now with Miami, they're in 12 personnel. So they've got 1 back, they've got 2 tight ends. But when you look at their 2 tight ends, Chris Herndon is a little bit different than your usual tight end. He can play fullback, he can play wide receiver, he can play tight end. So they can run a spread or they can run power I when he's in the ball game.
Now 2 wide receivers up at the top of your screen. Hurricanes on 2nd and 10. Run it again with Walton. He'll leap a tackler and go down at the 35. A flag does come down, though, and this is in holding territory.
Personal foul, shot block, number 52, and 73 of the offense. 15-yard penalty. Second down.
And what happened on that play, you've got one player engaged and another player comes and cuts the defensive player. You cannot cut a defensive player if he's already engaged with another offensive player.
So Casey McDermott, left guard for the Hurricanes, with the infraction. That's going to set them all the way back to the other side of the field and the 45-yard line. So stays second down, and now Kaya works out of the shotgun. Four-man rush for Florida Atlantic. Kaya lofts it in the air. He's got an open man. It's caught down at the 6-yard line. And that's David Njoku, the big redshirt sophomore tight end.
And that's the danger that Miami presents. They have tight ends that can get vertical. Njoku, a big kid, he high jumped 6'11". So you see him able to get down the field, get past the safety. You can't get caught looking in the backfield.
Now Joe Yearby in the game for the Hurricanes. Look at the cutback ability. Doesn't pick up much, but shows what he can do. Cantrell Burden made the tackle.
And just when you think you've seen it all with Mark Walton, now you bring in Joe Yearby. He can get to the outside. He can run between the tackles. He's one of those scat back types of players. But Coach Brown talked to us about that. He wants all of his guys to be three-down players.
Ninth play of this drive. Second and goal. Yearby again. He's going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. That's Nate Ozdemir. A real steady influence on that defensive line for Florida Atlantic, and it's third and goal.
And if you're Florida Atlantic right now, if you can get a stop after that big play and hold Miami to a field goal, you've accomplished what you wanted to defensively. It's a bend but don't break defense right now.
Coach Partridge hoping his defense can hold up. There's the story. The running backs, what they did last week against FAMU. This is a different challenge here tonight. Kaya, the play fake. Tosses it, end zone, and it's incomplete. Kind of ran out of room that time, and Williams was all over Njoku, and it's fourth down.
And I tell you what I like about that play. They went to an I formation, something we rarely see nowadays with all the success of the spread formation. What you do, you run a play action pass, so you get the linebackers to react. I like the offense so far, and that's something we'll see from Mark Richt, something we don't see often in college football nowadays. The fullback in the backfield, I formation, dot the I, play old school football.
Have a player down on the field. It's Hunter Snyder for Florida Atlantic. So Snyder, sophomore defensive lineman out of the Palm Harbor area. And he gets up off the field. Looks like he is okay. Keep in mind it is hot and humid here tonight for us. I guarantee you we're going to see a lot of cramping before the end of the night.
Well, both these ball clubs are from this area, so these young men should be used to this weather.
So field goal time for the Hurricanes. This is a 24-yard attempt for Michael Badgley. And he shakes this one. The Owls may have gotten a hand on it, and Florida Atlantic. It looks like it could have been Hendrickson who got a piece that time.
And we talked about him in the open. He's a guy that makes plays all over the field. And that is a great, great response from this FAU defense after giving up the long play. You see him get around, get through, get up in the air, and that's what you have to do. See Hendricks right here, jumps up and gets his hand on the ball. Great job.
We knew Trey Hendrickson was a force on defense, but here he is on special teams.
What Hendrickson did a good job of is timing when the kicker got his foot on the football. He jumped up. It was low projectile kick. It hit him in the face mask. Actually, he didn't get his hands on it. It hit him in the face mask. That's how low the kick was. So it was a pretty bad kick, but good job by Hendrickson getting his body in between the ball and the goalpost.
Short run for the Owls. Florida Atlantic has never defeated a team in the top 25, and coming in here today, they are 25-point underdogs to the Hurricanes. What do you think this team right now is thinking?
They're very motivated to show the world that they are not 25 points as good as Miami. They want to show everybody that they can play with them. These are some guys that feel like Miami overlooked them in the recruiting process.
Here's Driscoll. He'll slide at the 17-yard line. And Demetrius Jackson, not a piece of him, but Driscoll was able to get away. Young quarterback's got some legs.
And that was a good decision by Driscoll. He climbed the pocket. He didn't see what he liked. You don't try and force it in. Often we see young quarterbacks try and force the throw. Not when you're this backed up to your own goal line. Get as many yards as you can, slide and get down, live to play another down.
Big third down here. Crowd's going to make it tough on this young Owls offense all night long. Driscoll will change the play. Florida Atlantic needs about 3. Play clock down to 1. They get it off. Driscoll, open man, and he drops it. He's going to pay the price as well. That was Redwine who lowered the boom.
The Redwine did a good job of reading that play, allowing the ball to get there, then making the big hit. And you see what FAU is trying to do, use Miami's aggression against them. Redwine did a good job of putting his hat on the football. That's what you want to do when you come up. Get your hat on the football. Everybody wants to make the big hit, but make sure you hit that football and dislodge it.
Second punt for Dalton Shum. Gets this one off. Barrios will take it from the 40. He had a punt return for a touchdown last week. And he's down at the 42, well covered by the Owls. So when we come back, first down and 10 for the Hurricanes from their own 43. Well, tonight, Reese, Kirk, and Samantha will be at Bristol Motor Speedway. Virginia Tech takes on Tennessee. Should be a record-breaking night, as the last great Coliseum's been transformed into a 150,000-plus seat stadium for this old-fashioned border battle. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. All-time record for a college football contest force, just in case you were wondering, 115,109 at the Big House.
That'll get broken tonight very easily.
Brad Kai and Miami back to work. It's picked off on first down. Florida Atlantic comes up with a big play as Ogbunda. That was Nate Ozdemir, the interception for Florida Atlantic.
And Ozdemir did a good job of reading Kaya's eyes. You see a young play by Kaya. That's what you don't expect from him. Kaya eyeballs his receiver the entire time. And you saw Ozdemir read the quarterback's eyes and step right into the passing lane. And right now for FAU, they feel good about what they've been able to do defensively. They gave up the one big play. They bend, but they didn't break. They got the block on the attempted field goal. Now they've got a turnover with the interception.
So back to work, first and 10 from the 48. Hand it off to Howell. He's wrapped up in the backfield. Howell is going to be the guy that's got to play well for Florida Atlantic tonight.
Well, somebody's got to block R.J. McIntosh. I mean, he's a former basketball player, and you see his athleticism. He's able to use his quick feet and those long arms to get extension on the offensive lineman and get around him and kind of what I call dish rag him, where you take him and you shake him up and you move him the way you want to go, and then you go make the play.
R.J. McIntosh, tremendous run stopper. Ask Manny Diaz, defensive coordinator, to describe him. He said he is as stout as they come. Player down on the field. We'll check in on his status in just a moment. Well, some good news for FAU. Just moments ago, Kelly Parfit, the right tackle, did walk off under his own power. But if you're an offensive lineman forced, and you were one, this is your worst nightmare.
Well, you're always fearful of getting rolled up from behind. That's why you have to keep your feet moving, keep your feet chopping. And when it happens, as it's happening, you think about all the things that could go wrong, that can break, that can pop, that can stretch, that can bend. But a good job by the treatment staff, and he was able to get up and walk off under his own power.
Driscoll now tosses left. Harrison makes the catch. Pinckney right there to take him down. It's a short pickup.
And right now, if you're FAU's offense, you've got to settle down. The first drive they got a lot of movement. They had some moving parts. They were able to move the football with some passes down the seam. Right now, they've got to hunker down and figure out what Miami's doing different from what they did in the first drive.
Bunch formation to the left. Driscoll under pressure, and he's going to be taken down. They're coming tonight. Michael Pinckney, one of those freshman linebackers, making it happen.
And the initial pressure by Chad Thomas, you see him get up on the quarterback, press him outside, and the offensive tackles, they've got to do a better job of keeping the width of the pocket. As an offensive tackle, you've got to get 3 kick steps, then turn those shoulders and run those defensive ends past the quarterback's level. He had nowhere to go in the pocket. He couldn't step up because of the pressure in his face, and they squeezed the pocket on him, and Driscoll had nowhere to go with the football.
Schaub had his first punt blocked. That one he gets away again. Fair catch called for by Barrios at the 22. So far, Florida Atlantic able to keep Miami off the scoreboard, but the Hurricanes defense the last 2 drives has really been able to clamp down.
Now I'm interested to see what the offense can do. You've got an FAU defense that feels good. They've got some stops. They've created a turnover. They've responded to giving up a big play. Can they continue to hold this high-powered Miami offense down? Because the more that they do, the more confidence it starts to build.
And a light drizzle right now here at Hard Rock Stadium. Kyle with time will blow this one dead. Flag on the far side of the field.
False start. Offense. Number 3. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Last week for this Miami offensive unit, 9 different players scored touchdowns. So they were able to spread it around. But still looking to get in the end zone for the first time here tonight. Now they go 3 wideouts. And they'll run the football. Once again, good penetration. Walton will get away from that first defender, but does not pick up much. Call it about 3.
And Denzel Whitfield was able to get penetration on the interior of that offensive line, force Walton to cut the ball back outside where he didn't want to go. And from that point, you've got pursuit coming. That is what you have to do. You can't allow Walton to press the line because he wants to get it and he wants to go.
There's all the players to score a week ago. Filling up the box score. 2nd down 11. High formation now for the Hurricanes. Gaia play fake. Lofts it downfield. And it's going to overshoot his man. Stacy Coley trying to run free, but that was Williams. And I'll tell you what, Forrest, this Raekwon Williams for Florida Atlantic, he can cover you downfield. Very good player.
Very good player, very good in coverage, the best cover corner that FAU has. But once again, Brad Kaya is getting up off of his back on that play. A quarterback's worst nightmare is to see the front of his offensive lineman's jerseys, because that means they're looking back to see the player that they're supposed to be blocking hitting him. So they've got to protect Brad Kaya a little bit better, allow him to set his feet and get the ball down the field.
3rd down and long. 4 wide receivers in the game now for Miami. Kyle will step up and throw incomplete. Should have caught it. David Njoku had a lot of room to run.
And you see Njoku coming across on the short crossing route. He had nothing but space in front of him. I think he got excited because he knew he had nothing but green space to run once he got control of that football.
So far, Brad Kaya, only 1 of 7 passing, has had a few drops and 1 interception. So Florida Atlantic doing a good job defensively here in the first quarter. Henry Bussey back to receive this punt. Justin Vogel, senior out of Tampa, to do the honors for the Hurricanes. Fair catch at the 36-yard line. And this should come at no surprise, because last season up in Boca Raton, Florida Atlantic gave Brad Kaya and Miami all they could handle.
Well, you've got a bunch of kids that feel like they should be on this level playing for the University of Miami, a very traditionally rich ball club. So any opportunity that they get to play against them, they want to show and prove they're just as good as the big bad wolf.
This is Nate Terry with a touchdown. It was 20-17 at halftime. Owls very much in the game, but in the second half, Hurricanes eventually pull away 44-20, the final score. So after that game, Florida Atlantic comes in tonight 25-point underdogs. I think they're a tad disrespected.
Bulletin board material.
Well, so far, the first 3 possessions for FAU had a nice drive on the first one of the game. The last 2 have been 3 and out, all resulting in punts. Owls still playing extremely fast. Trips to the right. Driscoll looks that way and fires. It's complete at the 42-yard line, and making a move out of bounds at the 45 was Tavares Pico Harrison, the redshirt freshman.
And when Miami brings pressure off the edges, that is where FAU's gotten into trouble. I think when you look at 5-step and 7-step drops, they've got to do a better job offensive line-wise of keeping these edge rushers at bay. When they do 5- and 7-step drops, that's a little bit more time, and that's when they get into trouble and they start holding.
Makes it a 2nd and 20. That holding call really hurts. Driscoll trying to hang in there. Nearly intercepted at the 40-yard line. That was good coverage. And Cornelder making his presence felt.
Dangerous, dangerous pass. Jamal Carter was right there also. When you're throwing the ball across the field, it's very dangerous because you give the defensive back time to react.
Offense number 80. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
Cornelder, he has been challenged by defensive coordinator Manny Diaz.
And you see Elder stick right with the receiver. The receiver breaks, he breaks right with him. Too often you see defensive backs go into a bail technique off the snap of the football. Cornelder didn't do that.
Driscoll trying to set up the screen. He's got Howell. Takes it up to the 30. He'll pay for it there, and it'll be 4th down. 4th punt situation coming up for Florida Atlantic tonight. Shaq Quarterman, another freshman linebacker that is so talented.
And Cornelder once again was Jimmy on the spot on that play, making a play from the back. He did not get fooled by the attempted screen pass.
Fourth punt for Dalton Schomp. Remember, one of them was blocked. Canes look like they are coming once again. Oh, nearly had it deflected, and the flag is down. So this could be a roughing the punter on Miami. It's going to give Florida Atlantic some new life.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense number 24. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
And there's a running into the kicker, and there's a roughing the kicker. Right here, this is definitely roughing the kicker. 3 Miami players run into him, and that's to protect the kickers. When they run into the plant foot, you're going to get that call every time.
Well, it's a very emotional game. A lot of these players played against each other in high school. A lot of the players from Florida Atlantic weren't recruited by Miami, and I think some of them, Forrest, probably wanted to play college football here.
Absolutely.
The Owls close with Miami a season ago and nearly took down the Florida Gators as well. Still looking for that signature program win that they can talk about for years to come. And getting the running game going with Howell. He's across midfield to the 47-yard line.
And I want to pay attention to the right tackle, Antonio Woods. He's filling in for the injured Kelly Parfit. Let's see how he responds on some of these passing downs, if he's able to block out there on the edge when he's on an island.
Driscoll 5 of 8 so far. 2nd down and 4. In motion is Harrison. Driscoll's going to take it on the chin at the 44-yard line. Oh, Michael Pinckney. He was coming hard.
And off the edge, Zach McLeod, one of those freshman linebackers, beat the right tackle off the edge. You see him reaching out. You've got to kick step. You've got to get out and punch. But in the middle of that offensive line, you've got to be stout. You cannot allow them to run stunts and get a free rein to your quarterback running right up in his face.
Florida Atlantic 0 for 5 on third down. Quick screen. And it's going to be shy of a first down by about 6 yards. Rayshawn Jenkins made the tackle, and Driscoll is down at the 33. He took another pop.
And that's the danger of running the screen pass when you've got a jailbreak defense like Miami had on that play. The quarterback is bound to get hit. You've got some very large gentlemen coming in and welcome themselves to quarterback Jason Driscoll. You see him right here. He stands tall in the pocket. He gets sandwiched. He gets hit from the top and not really hit from the back, but nowhere to go. And, you know, you just hope that he gets up and he's able to walk off the field, which he's doing right now.
So Jason Driscoll feeling the wrath of this Hurricanes defense. That's one of the main principles for Miami on defense. Make the quarterback feel it.
Well, what was special about that play, they got a lot of pressure on Driscoll, but also when he delivered the football, there was a lot of Miami players swarming to the ball. So they're all over the field right now. That's what you want to see if you're Coach Diaz from your defense.
So 4th down and 7. And the punt team on the field again for the Owls. Barrios will let this one drop. Then it'll be down near the 24-yard line. So that'll do it for the first quarter of play. Florida Atlantic and Miami still looking for their first score, but the Hurricanes defense has come to play tonight at Hard Rock Stadium. Hard-hitting, low-scoring so far here at Hard Rock Stadium in South Florida. Back to work for the Hurricanes. And this run going to be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Azeez Al-Shaair, the sophomore linebacker, has been so impressive since arriving on campus.
Well, he's a film junkie. The coaches said he goes to class and he plays football. That's it. No extracurricular activities. You see his production on the field. The first sophomore ever to be voted a team captain.
Not much offense through one quarter of play. Brad Kai and company trying to change that. From the 23. Canes run the football. This is Yearby. And he's able to drag some tacklers up to the 29. And he had Jalen Young on his back, and he gave him a ride for about 4 yards.
But one thing you have to be concerned about if you're Miami's offense is their backs are getting hit at the first level. They're not even getting to the second level before they get contact. That's something that they didn't have to face last week against Florida A&M University. They were getting to the second and third level before they even saw a defender. Now they're getting hit at the first level at the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 5, and once again, Al showing blitz. Bring another up to the line, and here it comes. Kaya will try and dump it off. Yearby, this is where he is so dangerous in space, and he is going to be close to a first down, and I don't believe he got it.
And once again, the defense does a good job. They stay in front of the Miami backs and receivers. They do not allow them to get past the sticks. That's all you want.
I'll tell you what, so far, Nate Ozdemir, number 50 for Florida Atlantic, he is all over the field. And again on that play is Miami will punt this one away. It'll be a first down at the 17, but Ozdemir, a player who plays his best football in big games. Last year against Miami, he was solid, making plays from sideline to sideline, and tonight he has been a one-man wrecking crew.
Well, what's interesting, the coaching staff said about Ozdemir, he can be out of position, not being where he's supposed to be as far as his reads, but when the ball is in the air or a running back or a ball carrier gets the ball, he finds a way to get back to where he needs to be to make a big play. And that's what you have to have with your defensive players. Instinctive players, and that's what he's been this afternoon. Very instinctive.
Jason Driscoll took a big shot just moments ago. Here he is once again, first down and 10 from the 18. Stepping up, firing, and it's caught. 35-yard line and out of bounds. Khalib Woods makes the catch, and Florida Atlantic on the move again.
And you see the offensive line give Driscoll time. He climbs the pocket, allows his receiver to get open. Great job by the tackles, allowing those ends to get up the field, then turning those shoulders and pushing them past the quarterback's level.
Roman Fernandez, the center, right in the middle of that Florida Atlantic line. They'll try and get it out of his hands quickly once again, and Cameron can't hang on. Pinckney in the vicinity, but see Driscoll getting the ball out of his hands as quick as possible. That's something that offensive coordinator Travis Trickett wants to continue to do throughout the night. 7 of 11 so far. 2nd and 10 now. Keep it on the ground. Not much for Howell, who is making his homecoming here tonight. Went to nearby Coral Gables High School. Was asked by a local beat writer, did you follow the Hurricanes growing up? Did you watch Miami? He said, no, not at all.
What else is he going to say? He's got to keep it real to his ball club. I'm sure he watched the Hurricanes. I'm sure at some point in time he possibly wanted to be a Miami Hurricane. But all these great backs, why not?
3rd down. Driscoll sideline, incomplete. A little bit too high. Cameron couldn't climb the ladder. And it will be 4th down.
And I'm surprised the FAU offense tried to attack the boundary, the short side of the field. You have a lot more field on the left side to work with, the wide side of the field. I thought they may have sent their receivers out on that side. You have more room to work and get the ball to your receivers in open space.
Dalton Shop has averaged 35 yards per punt in this game. This one's going to sail into the end zone. It'll be a 1st and 10 for Miami when we return to South Florida. Low start so far for the Miami offense, and for quarterback Brad Caio, only 2 of 8 passing through a little more than a quarter of play. So first real challenge for the Kings quarterback this season.
And if you see what Miami's doing now, they brought in the fullback Marquez Williams. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 6'1", 280 pounds. So let's see if he can open some holes for the running game.
Kyle will unload it. It's caught at the 29-yard line. So it's going to be a pickup of 11 yards. As Coley makes the catch, Williams brought him down for FAU.
And for Miami, I think this is what they need to do. Quick passing, get the ball to your athletes in space, allow them to make plays. You want to get one-on-one matchups.
So 1st down and 10. Play flake this time. Open receiver downfield, and it's incomplete. Ball delivered a little bit high. And Shelton Lewis did a good job in coverage on Stacy Coley.
And I just don't think Brad Caio is comfortable right now. The offensive line, they are not doing a good job with the 3 interior linemen of being stout at the point of attack. They've just got to pick it up and put it down. And I mean that outside foot and be stout and punch and not allow penetration by these defensive tackles.
2nd down. Caio sets his feet and still a little bit off as his receiver fell down at the 40-yard line. That was intended for Njoku, but again, Williams making it really difficult.
Well, everything is just out of sync right now. I think Miami needs to settle down and just continue to look for matchups. I think Chris Herndon is a matchup that you can take advantage of. As a tight end, if you put a cornerback on him, he's bigger and stronger. If you put a safety or a linebacker on him, he's more athletic. That's a matchup I think Miami needs to try and take advantage of.
3rd and 10 from the 33. 4 wide receivers. And you see Herndon, number 23. Caio looks his way. Now trying to get out of trouble. Nobody's open. And he'll fire it to the 37-yard line. This is going to be well shy of a 1st down. So once again, the Owls defense holds.
Well, what FAU's been able to do is get pressure with 4 pass rushes so they can drop multiple players back into coverage. You see Kaya right now looking for someone to throw the football to. He has no one, and the defense does a good job of pressing him to the sideline. And once again, that guy Hendrickson is coming off that edge and pushing Kaya outside the pocket.
Vogel gets the punt away. Henry Bussey lets it take a bounce. It takes a Miami bounce all the way to the 11-yard line. So, you know, we're watching Florida Atlantic defensively. Keep in mind for us, last week, they gave up 530 yards to Southern Illinois. And here they are, almost through one half of play. They have kept Miami and Brad Kaya very frustrated.
Well, you see how well Kaya played last week. 12 of 18, 135 yards, 4 touchdowns. Tonight, 3 of 12. He's hitting on 25% of his passes. But when you look at what FAU did last week against Southern Illinois, maybe they were looking ahead to this ball game. Often we talk about Power 5 schools looking ahead to the big game ahead. They may have been looking ahead to this game as well.
Miami's defense just as stout. Give them credit. Has stopped at the 10-yard line. Robert Knowles, the first man there for the Hurricanes.
And remember that FAU runs this no-huddle, fast-paced offense. So let's see if this starts to wear on this Miami defense.
Keep an eye on 91, Gerald Willis, the Florida transfer, guy who's been waiting to get on the field for a long time, trying to make an impact here for Miami. As that one's incomplete. Chad Thomas got in there, but he's a little shaken up. He is rolling around right now in the end zone and in some serious pain.
And if Thomas doesn't get pressure on the quarterback, Tyler Cameron had a lane to run with the football if he got possession.
Looks like he's favoring the shoulder. We'll step aside and come back in a moment. Pressure, force in the air and throw, comes off the field. Looks like his shoulder may have popped out. He's being tended to right now on the sideline as Florida Atlantic has a 3rd down and 10. 3 wideouts for Jason Driscoll. Crowd making tons of noise. They play on. I think the players thought there was a whistle there, and it kind of messed up what the Owls were trying to do, and it'll be 4th down.
And a good job by the middle linebacker Mike Smith of pressing Jason Driscoll, not allowing him to set his feet. They did a good job of sprinting him outside the pocket. That's what you do when you've got pressure coming from the edge. You want to sprint him out, get an offensive lineman in front of him, give him extra time to throw the football, but he only had one receiver out on the route to the side that he was sprinting to, and he had nowhere to go with the football. So get rid of it, live to play another down, punt the ball, play field position right now.
See how quickly Dalton Shump gets rid of this football. Had one blocked earlier tonight. Berrios from midfield. Braxton Berrios. You know, there's just something about Berrios. Every time he touches the ball, this crowd just gets excited. He is a fan favorite.
We just kind of missed everything for this Miami ball club. He returns punts. He gets the ball out of the backfield. He gets the ball on reverses. He goes out for passes. He's a tough nose ball player.
Well, Brad Kaya, so far for us, just looked uncomfortable.
Well, you've got pressure coming. He makes a bad throw right there. He allows the linebacker to read his eyes. There on that pass, high with the football, pressured outside the pocket. And that's what they wanted to do. They felt like if they let Brad Kaya sit back in the pocket, he would pick him apart. They want to get him on the move. The coaching staff at FAU doesn't feel like he's as accurate as a passer when he's on the move.
Got a 1st down from the 39, so best field position of the game for Miami as they toss it out to Herndon. Chris Herndon takes it upfield to the 20. Shelton Lewis made the tackle, and Miami inside the red zone.
And Herndon is that matchup problem for any team that Miami faces, and the wide receiver's doing a good job of blocking on the outside. That's what Coach Rick stressed for this wide receiver group. He wanted to see them block down the field.
Let's go, you.
Let's go, Miami!
Kaya tosses right, and this is Herndon again. Oh, makes one defender miss, stumbling, and out of bounds at the 5. A flag came down near the goal line.
Holding, offense, number 9, 10-yard penalty.
And that's what Coach Rick doesn't want. You want your guys to make plays blocking down the field, but don't hold.
Well, these wide receivers for Miami, they are rededicated to blocking thanks to Coach Richt.
And you see the hole right there by Malcolm Lewis. Just let him go. If he makes the play, he makes the play, but you've got a first down if you allow him to let him go. You got to let him go. You understand he wants to make a big play, he wants to be there for his teammate.
That'll make it 1st and 20. Line of scrimmage is the 29-yard line. Red zone scoring for the Hurricanes. Now wishbone formation. Kaya does not like what he sees, and he'll call timeout.
Miami, this is their first.
So Brad Kaya, moments like this, the coaching staff wants him to be more of a vocal leader. They feel like he needs to bring that and add that to his game.
Well, he's the quarterback, and everybody's looking into his eyes every play. And when he shows confidence and exudes that confidence, the offensive line gets confidence. The wide receivers get confident that he's going to be able to get the ball to him. But I think the offensive line has to do a better job of protecting Kaya. These guys played together last year. They know the concepts of blocking, and when you're able to get pressure with 4 pass rushers and drop 7 back into coverage, I don't care if you've got Aaron Rodgers back there or, anybody for that matter throwing the football. If you get pressure with 4 and 7 in the coverage, there's nowhere to go with the football.
Well, Drew Felios and Forrest Connolly, great to have you with us tonight here at Hard Rock Stadium. First down from the 29-yard line. Kaya tosses, complete. And making a nice turn upfield down at the 20-yard line. And that's Amon Richards, the freshman wide receiver. He is impressive out of Wellington.
And it's the 3rd straight time they've thrown a ball to a receiver in the flat, giving him the ball in open space, allowing him to make plays. That's what you want to do. You've got so many athletes on this Miami ball club. Just get them the ball in space.
Player down is Shalom Agbunda, senior defensive tackle.
And Agbunda is an interesting kid. He played soccer in high school. So imagine a guy that size, 6'4", 290 pounds, playing soccer. He's a nimble young man.
And not many players on this FAU roster not from the state of Florida, and Agbunda is one of those, hailing from Texas. Helped off the field, looks like he is going to be okay. And you take a look at the out-of-state Owls. Not many of them. The rest of the players and the entire roster coming from the Sunshine State.
Well, you don't have to go anywhere farther than South Florida. Coach Richt talked about that. You can only sign 20 to 25 players a year, and there's 60 to 70 players coming out of this area every year. So you've got to pick and choose the right players for the program and the system that you run.
And they've really made a point to recruit I-4 and down, especially 2nd and 11 for the Hurricanes. Kaya with time. Pocket closes, though. He'll loft towards the end zone, and it's incomplete. Oh, put it out there for Njoku, but once again, Jalen Young was running step for step, but that's a play that probably could have and should have been made.
Well, once again, Kaya's under immediate pressure. He's not able to step into that pass, so he has to use all arm with that pass, put a little bit too much on the football, a little bit over the receiver's head. I think if he was able to step into it, he wouldn't have felt like he had to thrust it out the way he did.
Now, big 3rd down for Miami. They'll bring 4 wideouts in the game. Kaya over the middle. It's caught, and it'll be a first down. So that's Amon Richards. 2nd time they've gone to the freshman here on this drive.
And when you've got press man coverage on the outside, he beats him off the line of scrimmage. You've got to get some hands on Richards. You've got to bump him. You can't give him a free release.
Now they'll run it with Walton, and Mark Walton will score a Miami touchdown.
And And you see the effects of Mark Walton. He gets his hands on the football. He presses the line of scrimmage. He sees the lane, and he gets there, and he gets going. That's what you want from your back. Don't dance, shake, and move. Find the hole. Get to where you got to go. Get the touchdown.
Got a great block from his center, Nick Linder. 5 plays, 39 yards. Hurricanes take advantage of the short field and finally get on the board. 7-0 Hurricanes over the Owls. You're watching the ACC Network Extra from the revamped Hard Rock Stadium here in Miami Gardens. 7-0 Hurricanes finally on the board. Florida Atlantic has played tough, a 25-point underdog coming into tonight. Definitely show that they are not scared. But this Miami defense, they have been really tough to move it on. Here's Kerith White at the end zone for Florida Atlantic. Hits the hole, and he takes it up to the 33-yard line. That's the second time that White has nearly really broken free. There's a flag down at the 37, so we'll check on that.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike against the kicking team, number 6. 15-yard penalty. This is number 6, first unsportsmanlike foul.
That's Jamal Carter. That's a play that if you're Coach Rick, take a look at that tomorrow, and I guarantee you, Mr. Carter, maybe running a few extra gassers.
Absolutely. You cannot do that. You cannot jump up in an opponent's face and trash talk and headbutt. You can't do that. You just can't do that. You just gave up a long kickoff return. You can't do that. Now they've got great field position.
Driscoll fires the quick slant, is caught at the 45-yard line, and FAU is in Miami territory.
And Nate Terry, who just caught that ball, is an interesting receiver. He plays in the slot position, and usually slot receivers are smaller guys. He's 6'7", 210 pounds. So you're going to get some coverage with some safeties and some linebackers on him.
Toss it out to the right. And it's going to be a first down. So FAU trying to string together a drive here as Kerith White reels it in again. Mr. Terry did not play last week for us, so has been waiting to make his debut in 2016. He's had a few catches here tonight. First down and 10. Oh, that's going to be blown up. Big time play by number 7, Kendrick Norton. We've been waiting to call his name tonight.
And I love his upside. Kendrick Norton has one of the best first steps I've seen in a young player in a long time. And he's a big kid with long arms. He uses his leverage very well.
Second down, 11. Harrison in motion. And this play will be blown dead.
False start, offense, number 64, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that's going to be on Antonio Woods. The middle part of that Florida Atlantic offensive line. You got Roman Fernandez, number 77. Then you got Woods, 64. They were both high school teammates, both very strong.
And remember, they moved Woods out to tackle when Kelly Parfit went out with an injury. So this is a different position that he's been preparing for this week. And he's got those edge rushers. So he's trying to get a jump on his kick steps.
Second and 16. Driscoll takes a shot, delivers one. And it's Woods once again to the 34-yard line. Corn Elder makes the tackle. Driscoll is up, and he is still firing.
And Driscoll is doing a good job of standing tall in the pocket with pressure all around him.
This is where Florida Atlantic can be so dangerous. They bust a run. A flag does come down. This one could be coming back, but White is able to take it inside the red zone.
And they've got an offensive rhythm with that quick pace offense.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 men in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, third down.
That's the fourth penalty tonight on FAU, but you sense the tempo force. This is what Miami defensive coordinator Manny Diaz says that Florida Atlantic can do to you. They run plays so fast that they defeat you before the play even starts.
And what you have to look for are the Miami defenders. If they got their hands on their hips, that lets you know that's a signal that they're getting tired, they're getting gassed.
Third down, and the Owls need 9. Here comes the rush. Driscoll's got time. Fires towards the sideline. It's bobbled and incomplete. That ball was kept in the air like a volleyball. Eventually hit the turf. Red wine was all over it.
Well, Caleb Woods and Sheldrick Redwine fought for that football. I love the way both players went up and tried to high point the ball. You see Woods fighting for it, but Redwine never gave up. And if Woods doesn't grab Redwine's jersey and pull him down, he might have gotten the pick on that play. But you see what Redwine did when he knew he couldn't make a play on it. He tried to bat it up to allow Rayshawn Jenkins to try and make a play on it. Good job by the defense.
Florida Atlantic 0 for 9 on third down in this first half. Another punting situation. High in the air. And it'll be taken at the 10 by Berrios. So, Florida Atlantic, last season they took Miami deep into the second half and nearly upset Florida in the swamp. Tonight trying to stay close to the Miami Hurricanes. Got a big contest coming up later tonight on ABC. Virginia Tech and Tennessee. One of the most unique atmospheres for college football that we will ever see.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that crowd. They showed Neyland Stadium inside Bristol's Motor Speedway, and it was still room enough to put another field inside of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that crowd.
150,000 expected. Kaya got players all around him, and he fires. This is intercepted at the 25. Let's see. Andrew Sorrow has it, and referees say he did keep it off the ground, so it will be Owls football.
And this has been a thorn in Miami's offensive side all afternoon. Kaya has not had time to throw the football. He has not gotten comfortable. He is throwing ill-advised passes. He's under pressure. And all that FAU is doing there, they've got defenders underneath and they've got defenders on top of all the receivers. You see the defender underneath making a play on the football. Did he get his hands under the football? From that angle, it looks like he did. The ball didn't move. The ball can hit the ground as long as it doesn't move. The ball did not move. He had his hand under the football. I think that's going to be an interception. But what's most concerning is the pressure that Brad Kaya is facing. He goes with the play action pass. You see Hendrickson coming from the backside, not allowing him to get a good motion on that football. And I think that's what brought the ball down and allowed the defender to make a play on it. Miami's got to find a way to block these defensive linemen from FAU. We talked about it earlier. Hendrickson, you've got to put extra people out on the edge and chip. But you see the ball doesn't move. It never moves. And I think that's key for that. The tip of the ball looks like it hits the ground, but it never moves.
Well, our replay coordinator is Dennis Redding. He's taking a good look at this one. Will Andrew Sorrow's interception stand? I don't know, looking at that replay, that you have conclusive evidence to overturn that call.
Well, the ball didn't move, and that's what I'm looking for. I see the tip of the ball hitting the ground. But look at his hands. His hands are under the football. You never see the ball move. From the other angle that we had, the ball never moved.
The ruling on the field stands. First down.
Florida Atlantic gets a huge play by Andrew Sorrow, the redshirt sophomore. And now the Owls have a chance to put points on the board. Sorrow, when he first got into the program, was the class clown. Charlie Partridge, the head coach of FAU, said, but he has really grown up, and he made a huge play right there. 1st and 10 now for the Owls. Driscoll batted away, incomplete. Again, McIntosh wreaking havoc.
And right now, Miami's bringing more players than FAU can block. They are not going to allow Driscoll to get comfortable back there and find receivers. If they're able to block the blitz that Miami's bringing, Driscoll has somewhere to go with the football, but they've got to block it and give him time.
Now they'll bunch things up. Give Miami a different look. Players jumping all over the place. And this is going to be an infraction.
Offsides, defense number 9, 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's another thing Miami knew that they were up against tonight. An offense with lots of gadgets.
Well, that's the eye candy offense that they talked about facing. They're going to move. They're going to have a bunch of moving parts, and you see them use Chad Thomas's aggression against him and get him to come off the line of scrimmage and bump the offensive player.
Offensive coordinator Travis Trickett, known for that from his days at Samford. Second down and 5 now. Can this Miami defense come up big once again? Keep it on the ground, and this is going to be a short run to the 21-yard line. Demetrius Jackson has made several plays tonight as White was the ball carrier. Well, there's Coach Trickett, Travis Trickett. After 5 years at Samford, heads over to Florida Atlantic. He is the son of Rick Trickett, Florida State's offensive line coach, and a young rising star as an offensive coordinator. Third down. Rush comes. Incomplete. The jailbreak was on once again.
And if Driscoll is able to put a little bit more on that football, just a little bit more air, he might be walking in for a touchdown. You see the pressure by Miami. When you bring pressure, you've got to not allow the quarterback to get anything on the football. Good job by Miami bringing pressure off the edge. Jaquan Johnson.
So Johnson forces the quick throw, and now Greg Joseph, the junior from Boca Raton, on to try a 38-yard field goal. And it's good. So Joseph boots it through. Charlie Partridge, his team, trails by 4 here in the first half. 4.5 minutes left to go in the first half. 7-3 Miami. Coach Mark Richt revamping his coaching staff. There's Ron Dugan, just saw, former Florida State wide receiver, and Thomas Brown, the offensive coordinator, also running backs coach for the Hurricanes. These coaches are young, they are bright, many of them former players, and they have meshed so well here in South Florida. This is Malcolm Lewis from the back of the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. And Brown is a guy who looks like he could still play. Former running back in his day, also coached at Wisconsin and Georgia.
Well, Brown coached some great players at Wisconsin, Melvin Gordon, Nick Chubb at Georgia, and he talked about the mantra of his running backs. It's a competition every week to play and to start. And when you think about the history of running backs at the University of Miami, it's always been like that. Portis, McGahee, James, Gore, all of these guys were at one time playing with one another or behind one of these guys. So it's always been a competition, and you see that with this group of players right here.
First down from the 25. Joseph Yearby is the running back. They'll hand it to him, and he has got some moves. Up to the 32, pickup of 7. Raekwon Williams made the stop for the Owls.
And what's interesting about Yearby, as small as he is, he's a very tough back in between the tackles. And he's so fast and so quick, he's able to be running at full speed when he's going left to right.
Yearby once again. Joseph Yearby across the 40. Al Shire the stop. Can you believe, Forrest, that at one time, Joe Yearby, he and Dalvin Cook were in the same backfield for Miami Central High School? I saw them play a state championship game a few years ago.
That's unacceptable to any other school that had to play against him. Why you even show up when you're playing against those guys?
First down, Hurricanes on the move as Coley gets his hands on it. And I think it's time for these Miami wide receivers to start and get into this game.
Well, with Yearby getting positive yards on both of those running plays, now you've got the safeties coming up, stepping up into the box to try and add extra men to stop the run. You get that man coverage on the outside.
8 yards on first down makes it 2nd and 2. 3 wideouts now for Miami. Yearby starting to feel it, And he takes it to the 44. They'll move the chains again. Ozdemir, the tackle for FAU.
Now, as the running game gets going, now look for the play action pass. As long as FAU plays man coverage on the outside, they're playing press man, but they're not bumping the receivers off the line of scrimmage.
So Miami right now, they're really in a hurry up. Yearby again runs into a tackler, but not able to get away from Azeez Al-Shaair. You mentioned, Forrest, that Al-Shaair is a player who doesn't really go out, doesn't do a lot off the field, just goes to school, goes to practice, and goes home. You know, he called his defensive coordinator at 12:30 a.m. late Saturday night. Defensive coordinator Rock Bellantoni, and said, "Coach, I see what I'm doing wrong."
Boundaries. There has to be some type of boundaries.
And this one's caught out near the sideline. It came free. And our official over there says he was down. So catch was made by Malcolm Lewis. It was Soro who jarred it free.
Let's see if the ball comes out before his knee touches the ground.
Ooh.
Oh, that's out. That's out. And if I'm FAU, you got to challenge that.
The ruling on the field is under further review.
The ball is definitely moving right there. The knee is not down. I think that's out. That's going to be FAU ball. Another turnover by Miami. Well, you know what? The ball hit the offensive player when he was out of bounds. So that's what I'm going to look at as well. But look at the offensive player as well. The ball hit him when he was out of bounds. His foot looked like it was out of bounds when the ball bounced off of his shoulder pad. Let's take a look at that again. Okay, the ball is out right here. Okay, the offensive player is out of bounds. See the ball bounce off of his left arm? But the ball bounces off the offensive player's left arm and his body's out of bounds.
Well, Soro was out of bounds and dove back in to jump on the football.
But does that make it a dead ball when the ball hits him and his body's out of bounds? It's going to be interesting. The replay officials got their work cut out for him on this play.
Dennis Redding, our replay official tonight. Jeff Heeser is our head referee. This is what they're looking at. The completion to Malcolm Lewis. He turns it upfield. Ball definitely comes out before he was down, so that not a question.
Well, the key is that Soro established being back in bounds when he got control of the football. I think that's what they're going to look at. Was his foot still out of bounds when he touched the football? Let's see.
Ball clearly out.
He's out right there now. Did he get airborne?
Oh, that is so close.
Great job by our camera crew, too, to slow that down. That's going to be an interesting call right here. Because Miami's driving the football. They look like they were possibly going in for another score before the half, put more points on the board. If this is a turnover, what a big play for this FAU defense.
Well, usually when it takes this long, calls usually get overturned, and that could indeed be the case here.
And if so, they may be looking.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Miami.
I think that foot was out of bounds. We saw how our cameraman slowed it down, and you can see right there where the tip of his toe was out of bounds. There was not a way to inconclusively say that that toe was up and he got possession of the football. You see the tip of the toe right there? You can't say that it's not touching the white of the out of bounds, and his hand is on the football.
First down, Hurricanes, 32-yard line. Brad Kaya working out of the shotgun. Walton through the hole and down the sideline. takes a shot inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal, Hurricanes.
And you see the ability of Walton to get the football and press the line of scrimmage. He gets it and gets going. Right here, he sees the hole initially, goes, and I like the way he puts it in the overdrive. Right here, you see him start to pump his arms and try and get to the end zone. He doesn't go down lightly. That's what you want to see from your backs.
1 minute, 42 seconds. 1:42.
As an offensive lineman, you get fired up when your backs start running like that and running hard and trying to run over defenders.
So 1st down, Miami, and we're going to have a timeout.
Timeout, Miami.
Well, Coach Rick said, we have a feeling we're going to have to earn every single yard tonight, and that is exactly what's happened. You know, there's just something about games when you're the big name school and you got to play the little school just down the road. I remember Florida State back in the 90s played UCF and Dante Culpepper and Marquette Smith. UCF came in, nearly beat FSU. There's been other times for us where you've seen that happen.
Well, I played in that ball game, and that was that was one of those games where you had to play the entire ball game if you're the offense. I think we beat them 36-24. You had Marquette Smith that played for us that transferred to UCF. You know, and you had Culpepper, who was a Division I player, but went to UCF because he knew they would transition from FCS to FBS. He could go in and start immediately as opposed to sitting out as a Prop 48. So they were basically, you know, an FBS program with the talent that they had. But you think about Florida State going down to South Florida a couple of years ago and losing that ball game. South Florida coming to Florida State and beating them. You've got guys that feel like they should be on the level of the teams that they're playing. So when they get their opportunity, they not only want to show out and prove that they're worthy, they also want to get good film for possible NFL looking at them and getting an opportunity to play on the next level.
1st down goal for Miami. Hand it off. Walton tries to bounce it outside, and he is in. Touchdown, Hurricanes.
And Trey Hendrickson, the defensive end, number 9, had a play on him, but this is 1-800 strength and agility. You see him able to stop on the dime, get to the outside, and once he does, he powers over the goal line for the score for Miami.
And that looks like Al Shire, who is on the turf right now for Florida Atlantic. So one of their best defenders. That's not a good sign for the Owls.
I love the way he's able to bounce off a would-be tackler right here. And you see Shire kind of fall into that play. You can't see what actually happened to him on that play. Let's see right here. He's initially getting held. He gets out. Looks like he may have gotten leg whipped by his own player. Let's hope he's okay.
Aziz Al-Shire, only a sophomore and a captain of this Owls defense. There have been some hard hits tonight in this game. Young man out of Tampa, and somebody that defensive coordinator Rock Bellantoni says is just so thankful to put the uniform on every single day. And one of those guys that wants to show out on nights like this against a power like Miami. Extra point on the way is up and good. It's 14-3. So Mark Walton able to bounce one outside, get into the end zone, and Miami has started to find their touch here in the 2nd quarter. Did take a while though. And it's been the running backs who have really picked up the slack here in quarter number 2.
Well, they're doing a good job of pressing the hole, not waiting. They know where they're supposed to go with the football. They're holding on to the football, which is good as well. But they're getting every yard that they can, and they're starting to wear down this FAU defense. You got to continue to run the football. Miami has not been able to pass the football. So what do you do if you can't pass the football? You go back to old school I formation, get a lead blocker in there, get positive yards, and eventually with the athletes that they have, they'll break one.
Well, we've seen Mark Walton. We've also seen Joe Yearby. Have not seen Gus Edwards up to this point. He is the hammer for this Miami offense. Taken out of the end zone by White. He's had some nice returns tonight. It doesn't go down easy as he takes it across the 30-yard line. Well, these two programs certainly have one man in common. A college football legend by the name of Howard Schnellenberger. Came to Miami in the late 70s, eventually won a national championship in 1983 with that big win over Nebraska, and then decades later takes over the Florida Atlantic program. The first practice at FAU, he had 160 walk-ons, 22 scholarship players, and eventually retired in 2011. But Howard Schnellenberger, this is a sight from last year, taking part in the coin flip Forrest. He is a college football household name, and yes, a legend for sure. He is not here in attendance tonight, but likely watching, and in a game like this, you just want to salute Mr. Schnellenberger.
Well, he's definitely an icon for both programs, and you love what he was able to do when he was at Miami and the program that he started here at FAU.
Paved the way for Jimmy Johnson to come in, and this Miami program has strived for greatness ever since. Second down and 10 now. Play clock at 10 for Driscoll. Tries to step up, but Miami eventually gets to him. Chad Thomas able to run him down.
And they're pressuring Driscoll. He's not able to set his feet. He's not comfortable right now. He tried to climb the pocket, but Miami did a good job of pressing in the middle, not giving him anywhere to go with the football.
Florida Atlantic's got 3 timeouts. Do you call timeout here in this situation or just play on?
I think you see if you get positive yards right here. If not, you play on, you kick the ball, you take as much time as you can, and you live to play the second half.
Miami does have 1 timeout, so if they get the ball back, they'll certainly use that. 3rd and 12 for the Owls. Keep it on the ground, and running has been hard to come by here tonight. Demetrius Jackson's been active defensively for the Canes. So the clock will stop with 31 seconds left to play in the first half.
Timeout, Miami. 3rd and final timeout.
And that's what you want to do. You want to make Miami use all of their timeouts. Now, you give them no time for their offense to get out there and make plays. But if I'm Miami, I'm sending 10 players right now to try and get another block on the punt. You know the punter's a little nervous. He's already gotten 1 block. They've gotten close a couple of times. You send the house.
Let's go, Canes!
Howard Schnellenberger, 10 years as the head coach in Boca Raton. Carl Pelini, it's been a few years there. And Wright and Partridge succeeding him. But Coach Partridge, in his 3rd season, feels like that this program is on the right track, and said his team was very emotional last week. Didn't play as well as they could have in that 38-30 victory, but says that there is tons of love in our locker room, that we finally feel like we are a program about to explode. Had a good showing so far, trailing by 11 though. Berrios from the 25. Oh, great play on special teams. Well, that was number 14, Andrew Soro. He has made a lot of plays here in this first half.
And that's what you want to do. You want to pin them deep. Right now, if you're FAU, you play prevent defense. You drop your safeties 20 to 30 yards behind. Don't let anything get behind you. But you see Soro on the pursuit, and he gets him by the heel. If he doesn't get Berrios, he has room to run around the edge and could get a lot of positive yards to put Miami in position if they are not able to get a touchdown, possibly go for a field goal. So a good job by Soro getting that tackle.
Soro's also had an interception here in the second quarter. Miami will run the football. Their backs are dangerous every time they touch it. Just shy of the 40-yard line. That's Yearby once again. O.C. Rose, first time we've called his name for the Owls.
And right now, Miami's offensive line are making contact first. That's who wins the battle in the trenches. Who's ever to make the initial contact. Their offensive line is firing off the ball, giving these running backs lanes to run through.
Offensive line been able to control Hendrickson over the last few series. Kyle will throw it. See how far downfield he'll try and take it. Pressure caved in on him, but he was able to get it away up to the 45 as the final ticks now. Gerard Ward made the stop. Yearby the catch, and that should do it for the first half. So Miami starts slow. They get it going in the second quarter, but FAU not backing down by any stretch.
Well, you imagine FAU
before pulling away.
And that's a good talking point for FAU going into halftime. Guys, we were right there last year. We weren't that far away, and we let it get away from us. How will we respond this second half this year?
Walton and Lewis back to receive for the Hurricanes. This ball going to bounce off the fingertips of Lewis. As Joseph gave it a nice ride for FAU. So Hurricanes offense will come out to start this third quarter.
And you know, Drew, when I talk about offensive line play, there, my 3 Ps: poise, patience, and punch. Poise, don't get frustrated. Patience, allow the play to develop. Punch, when you find your work, pop the defender. That's what I want to see in the second half from both offensive lines.
4 wide receivers for Miami. You take a look at that offensive line. Kaya out of the shotgun looking for the screen, just has to throw it away. So FAU knew that was coming. Hayden Nagel was really pushing that O-line for the Hurricanes. You know, Coach Rick talked about Danny Isadora for us, the big right guard for Miami, number 63, as being the best run blocker and pass blocker. Aside from that, he said, we got a lot of room to grow.
Well, what I like about Isadora, he's what I call a duck walker. He gets that wide base when he gets up to a second level defender, and he walks him up out of there.
Toss it out to Coley. He'll take it upfield to the 33. Stopped by Soro.
And I think that's where Miami's bread and butter is right now. Getting the ball to your playmakers on the outside. The short, quick passing game.
Soro still down after making that tackle. And, you know, this is a case for us where you played with everything you had in the first half. You go into the locker room. It was humid as can be down on the field. You come out in the third quarter and something just ain't right.
Well, you got to push through. And you can't see exactly where the injury occurred. He's up on his feet walking off the field right now. And it was a really good tackle on a very athletic player, Coley. Coley's one of those guys that is very slippery. He can make plays on the outside, so you want to try and get him down with initial contact. You don't want to allow him to get north and south because there's nobody on this field that's going to catch him if he gets in the open field.
High formation now for the Hurricanes. Kyle wants to throw that quick route as he'll hit Richards. Amon Richards, third catch tonight. He has shown some talent. Williams pushed him out of bounds.
And they've got to be pleased with the true freshman. He's making himself a big target for Kaya. He's coming back to the football, something you don't see often with young receivers. A lot of times they wait for the ball to get to him. You got to go back and you got to attack it.
First down from the 41. Hand it to Walton. Mark Walton across midfield. And down at the 45. 15-yard pickup. First down.
And that was an excellent job by the big fella, Marquez Williams, the 6'1", 280-pound fullback, number 36. Watch him get to the outside, get a block on the linebacker, Al Shahir, and open up a lane for Walton to get down the field.
They've been waiting for that to happen all night long. It's a Miami program, not just great running backs, but great fullbacks over the years. There's Walton again. Jalen Young, the tackle that time.
And right now, the big fella is laying wood out there. Once again, Al-Shaair does not want to see him. He met him in the hole, and he put the people's elbow on him. I don't think Al-Shaair wants to run in there again. And that's what you have to do to great linebackers, guys that want to fill the gap. Make them pay for it when you get good opportunities to put a hit on them.
9-yard gain. Here it comes again. Now Walton just running behind the great blocking right now to the 30-yard line. Josh Kendall, the tackle. So this is the best push we've seen from this Miami offensive line so far tonight.
Where they're setting the tone right now. This is where you look for play action pass. They've got everybody up in the box right now. You got man coverage on the outside on Coley.
Makes it a first down now. Hand off again to Walton. And they're going to keep feeding the beast. Mark Walton. The ball comes out towards the end of the play. Official says he was down.
I think if Miami coaches recognize that man coverage on the outside, press man on Coley with 8 in the box, they're going to go for it. But you see right now, Walton continuing to press the line. It looks like the ball is coming out. I wonder, was his knee down? Let's take another look at that.
Now Dennis Redding can't hit the buzzer if he wants to take another look at this. But Miami will come up to the line and snap it. So no replay this time. Kyle will get it complete. And Dale Harris, the sophomore wideout, gets his first catch of the night before Cantrell Burden able to bring him to the turf. Another first down for Miami.
And coaches always teach tacklers when you get up to the ball carrier, you've got to break down in the tackle stance as opposed to flying up there. You saw the defensive back, Anthony Hamilton, fly up there, and the receiver was able to get out.
First down, 16-yard line. Good looking drive for the Canes. Best of the night. Only going to pick up a couple this time. Keep in mind, Miami last week 42-0 over FAMU in the third quarter. So this is the quarter where they're really looking to run it up.
Well, what they're doing right now is playing square chin football. They're lining up in the I formation, power formation, running the football right at FAU, and they're telling them, hey, stop us.
Look at both head coaches. 2nd and 7. Yearby now checks into the game. Fake it to him. Toss it out to the left. And not much happening there. Out in space. Very short gain. Gerard Ward there to make the play.
And it was a good job by Jalen Young getting out there, allowing his teammate Ward to get out and make a tackle. All you've got to do is make the offensive player make a move that allows pursuit to get over there to make a tackle.
Big third down here. Canes need 4. Got to get it to the 6-yard line. Al showing some blitz. Kaya changing the play. Brad Kaya lofts it. Corner. End zone. Incomplete. Intended for Stacy Coley. Just out of his fingertips. And a few of those throws tonight, Forrest, have not been on target.
Well, Kaya is uncomfortable right now. He's got pressure right there. He didn't have pressure. He just put a little bit too much on the football. You've got Coley. You've got the coverage that you want. You just see him put too much. He tries to guide it in, but I think he just needs to take his time, and he'll start delivering some good passes.
27-yard field goal is up and good. So the Hurricanes extend their lead. Michael Badgley puts it through. 14-point game here in Miami. (17-3). Miami takes it down the field, gets a Badgley field goal to add to their lead. 10-minute mark, third quarter. Drew Felios and Forrest Connolly on ACC Network Extra. Taken out of the end zone by White. Done a good job returning it here tonight. And up to the 27-yard line. So the ball back to Jason Driscoll in this Florida Atlantic offense. A field goal tonight, Forrest. What do they have to do to get it moving and produce points here in the second half?
They've got to get a sustained drive right here. They've got to get They've got to discontinue allowing pressure up the middle in Driscoll's face, and they've got to get the ball to their athletes in space. I think they need to do what Miami just did on offense when they did pass the ball with success. Throw it out and flat to your athletes and let them make plays in space.
Tyler Cameron lines up as the blocker, and the running game has been really challenged by this Miami front, and the linebacker Shaq Quarterman making the play. You know, Florida Atlantic thought that they could take advantage of the young Miami linebackers, make them look like freshmen, but the thing is, when the defensive line is getting penetration like they are, really doesn't matter, does it?
Well, when you run a fast-paced offense, it's a gift and a curse for an offensive lineman. Sometimes the defensive players are not where you need them to be to make the block, so you kind of got to look for where you're trying to block your guys when they're not set.
That ball's incomplete, going to bring up third down.
When it's going and it's going well, you've got the defenders on their heels. But when these guys aren't set up in their defensive stance, sometimes as an offensive lineman, you've got to determine where is your block going to be, who you're going to block. And it kind of sets the defense up to get some kind of funky blitzes and get penetration.
FAU 0 for 11 on third down. Kane's trying to make it 0 for 12. Over the middle, intercepted at the 45. Rayshawn Jenkins, the redshirt senior, got the deflection.
And that was a tough pass by Driscoll trying to throw it. He had good coverage. You see Michael Jackson with good coverage, and the defensive backs practice the tip drill every day. You see Jenkins tracking the football to make a play. The ball bounces up and he's able to catch that ball, get the interception, give Miami the ball back.
So Driscoll gets on the headset. Once again, this Miami defense led by defensive coordinator Manny Diaz. Really impressive here tonight.
Sideline warning. Florida Atlantic, this is their first.
And if you're Florida Atlantic, this is where it can get away from you. They've got to be stout on defense. Miami got something going with that running game. They've got to be stout.
Well, Manny Diaz was trained by guys that you're very familiar with for us, Mickey Andrews and Chuck Amato. As he tosses it to Coley, Kaya to Coley for 8 yards. Diaz talked about that and his roots, how he has moved on, came from Mississippi State, and really making a difference for Coach Rick's Hurricanes.
Well, what Coach Diaz talked about is the importance of tenacity, which he learned from Mickey, and the importance of being schematically sound, which he learned from Chuck Amato. And you see that in this Miami defense, and as he continues to get the type of players that he wants, that fits what he wants to do schematically, I expect this defense to become that type of pressuring defense that you saw from Chuck Amato when he was at North Carolina State, what he brings to the table at Akron, and what Mickey Andrews brought for so many years at Florida State.
He said Coach Andrews used to say, I want my players to bounce off the field, look like they're bouncing around defensively. Seen a lot of players bouncing around for Miami here tonight. Herndon reels it in. He's tackled to the open field by O.C. Rose, a playmaker for the Owls defense.
And I'd like to see Miami use Herndon more in the slot positions, get him on some seam routes. I think that's where you'll get the matchup advantage. You'll get some linebackers and some safeties on him, and he's bigger than those guys, stronger than those guys, and he'll be able to use his girth and width to make plays.
Second down, little less than 10 for Brad Kaya. Hand this one off. No, he'll keep it. Sold the play action beautifully and hit his fullback Marquez Williams. So Williams can block, and he's also got some pretty soft hands.
Well, you got to reward the big fella. He's been in there banging, opening up holes for Walton. Real good play fake by Brad Kaya. I thought we'd see this with the established running game. You see him on the play action. The fullback sneaks out, does a good job of hitting him on the run, allowing him to get his hands on the football and turn up the field north and south.
Player down, far side of the field. As they tend to him, will step aside. 17-3, Miami over Florida Atlantic. Back here in South Florida, 17-3. Jalen Young was the player down. He has left the field. Andrew Soro is back in for the Owls, and there's Young. Doesn't look like it's anything too serious. We'll keep an eye on that situation. Miami goes back to the running game. They've been able to get good penetration against this Owls defense. That a very short pickup. Raekwon Williams in on the tackle. Also Jake Stashik, number 19, in there to help out. So FAU secondary a little bit banged up here, having to go to their bench. 2nd down and 10. 4 wide receivers in now for Brad Kaya. Handed to Walton. Mark Walton, what a spin move, and he is to the goal line, just a little bit shy, and now the touchdown call. Well, it took a while for our official to put his hands in the air, but eventually Mark Walton credited with 6.
Well, Mark Walton did everything you want to see a running back do on this play. You saw patience, you saw stop and go, you saw the spin, you saw power. Here, stop and go, change the direction, spin move. Now when he gets to the goal line, power. I'm going to power it over the goal line, get the touchdown. Everything that you look for in the back, you saw on that play.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown. That play is under further review.
His foot isn't out of bounds. And I think if the pylon is there, he hits the pylon. I think that's a touchdown.
I think a couple players hit the pylon.
But once again, what a special run by him. And you see him use the power right there, set his feet, and thrust himself towards the end zone, towards the pylon. And that's what you want to see. Everything that you look for in the back, you get with Mark Walton. That's why with great backs like Yearby, like Edwards, like the young true freshman Travis Homer, that's why Walton is starting right now, because he brings all of those intangibles to the table.
Remember, we saw Walton for the first time last season in the opener and just knew that he was going to be the future in the backfield for the Hurricanes. And like you said, it's one thing to have great moves and shifting. It's another thing to have power. He's showing that right now.
Well, there's a standard here, and I talked about it earlier. Portis, McGahee, Edwin James, Frank Gore. You can go back to Cleveland Gary, Melvin Bratton. These guys all have a history and a tradition of great running, and you see that in some of these young guys. And Walton is putting himself in that category with the way that he runs the football.
Did he have enough push to get into the end zone? Official right there to make the call. A little bit delayed, but eventually was ruled a touchdown, and I think this call,
after further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Is going to stand.
And I think what they looked for to see if his foot stepped out of bounds. And he planted that foot and thrust himself over the goal line towards the pylon. And once they saw that foot didn't step out of bounds, they gave him the touchdown.
Also credit Barrios, able to hold his block that time to spring him through. 24-3. The Hurricanes extend their lead over Florida Atlantic. The Owls have got to regroup. Florida Atlantic showing a little bit of fatigue, not quite the same swag that they had going in the first half. And for Coach Mark Richt, had a chance to meet with him yesterday. Forrest didn't quite know how he would be after 15 years at the University of Georgia, but safe to say he looked like he was happier than he has ever been before.
Well, I went and visited Coach Richt when he was at Georgia, and he always seemed to have a stoic look about himself. But when we talked to him and visited with him yesterday, he smiled from the time he walked into the door until he left aboard the bus to go with the team to get ready in preparation for this ball game. And he's just in a very happy place right now. He's back where it started for him in college football. He's building something here. He's trying to bring back that winning tradition. And we talked to him about what he wants to get accomplished. And he never put a timetable or a number on it. He said he just wants to have fun and get back to enjoying Miami football.
Here's White, who takes a shot inside the 20. So the special teams unit for Miami starting to really pick things up. Coach Rick actually grew up in Boca Raton, and he played football here for Howard Schnellenberger back in the late 70s. Once a Miami quarterback, Mark Rick. It all began here. So to come back here is really saying something.
Well, I've had a relationship with him for 25 years. I met him in 1991 when I started my career at Florida State, and he was a quarterback's coach. He then went to an offensive coordinator and then to the University of Georgia, and now here at Miami. And I think they got the right guy.
Coached some great quarterbacks over the years. Talk about guys like Danny McManus, Peter Tom Willis, Casey Weldon, Brad Johnson, Charlie Ward, Chris Winkie. And then those aren't even the guys he coached at Georgia. I'm just talking about the Florida State guys for us because I know you love to talk about that.
Well, he had a number 1 overall pick in Matthew Stafford out of the University of Georgia. So he's kind of been one of those quarterback whisperer type coaches.
Aaron Murray, another. David Green, southpaw, coming out of Athens as well. Driscoll now on second down, fires over the middle, has an open man, and that should be a first down at the 30 as Khalib Woods reels in another one.
And that was an excellent job by Driscoll going through his progressions. He wanted to go to the left side of the field initially. He didn't see what he liked. He went through his progressions and found Woods.
So first down and 10. And FAU trying to mount a drive here. Toss it out. This is to Woods, and he'll take another shot at the 36-yard line. Oh, these Miami defenders, this time Jenkins and Jackson teaming up. Lots of shifting now for FAU as they try and hurry things up. 3 wide receivers line up to the right. Try and run the football here. This is Howe. And for FAU to win this game, Howe was the guy who was going to have to play big. Let's take one more look at this vicious hit that just happened a moment ago.
And Rayshawn Jenkins comes flying up with reckless abandon and lays one on Caleb Woods. He did a good job holding on to the football.
Owls moving the pile that time. That should be a first down. And that is the first third down conversion of the game for Florida Atlantic. That was a very deep pile that they just unraveled, and getting up a little slow is Kendrick Norton. And this looks like this could be cramps.
And we got a light rain at halftime. And when you get that rain with this heat, you get a lot of humidity coming out, and that's what happens to your bigger players. And you've got to remember, FAU runs this fast-paced offense, so a lot of times when Miami wants to get substitutions in the ball game, they're not able to, and you'll see some of this happening with some of their players. So if you're Miami right now, when you've got your substitutions, you've got to get those guys to be ready to run on the field and run off, because if you watch the officials, once he sets the ball down, he has to run up out of there because FAU is trying to snap the ball as soon as it's set.
Yeah, you really like Kendrick Norton, what he brings to the field, sophomore out of Jacksonville. And I'm sure, Forrest, when you watch a guy like Norton play, you think to yourself, could I have blocked that guy?
Yeah, I think I could have. I'm always going to think I could have blocked it. You got to remember who I played against when I was playing against Miami.
Caught it midfield, and Woods takes it inside the 40-yard line. So Driscoll continuing to hang in there, and for the Hurricanes, it was Pat Bethel making the stop.
When you talk about defensive tackles for Miami, they've got a standard to live up to as well. Jerome Brown, Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, Vince Wilfork, Warren Sapp. So when you think about those guys, they've got to live up to that standard as well.
Spinning, yeah, good move. And inside the 30, busting free, this is Howell, and he is going to score.
And you see how breaking tackles at the first level, right there at the second level, he breaks another tackle. And when he gets to the open field, if you're not on your wheels, you're not going to catch him. Good job holding on to the football. bouncing off of would-be tacklers and getting to the end zone.
Tremendous run by Greg Buddy Howell. And FAU by no means showing any signs of quit here in South Florida. Extra point is up and good by Joseph. FAU taking Miami's best shots, but they keep on ticking. Howell breaking tackles and racing to the end zone. FAU staying within striking range. A 38-yard touchdown run by Greg Buddy Howell, and look at the way he did it.
Well, number 26, Rayshawn Jenkins, had an opportunity to make a play at the line of scrimmage, but Howell bounced off him, and you see right there, Rayshawn Jenkins getting his arm shaking. It looks like he may have gotten a stinger on that hit.
So as a former football player, Forrest, tell us a stinger terminology. How does that happen on the field?
Well, you get hit just in the right place and you lose feeling in whatever body part it is, and usually you get a tingling feeling down the arm, so they want to kind of move that arm around, get the blood to flowing back, get that feeling back in that arm. So that's what you saw the trainer doing, moving that arm around, trying to get that feeling back. It's something that you don't want to have. It's very uncomfortable.
Mainly happen to defensive guys.
No, it happens to offensive players as well. It's just that perfect hit. It's kind of like hitting the funny bone, that perfect hit. And you hit that area and you get them.
So 1st and 10. Joe Yearby is the running back. Canes spread it out once again, 24-10. And it's Yearby. And he'll take it up for a couple, as Ozdemir has played just a fabulous game tonight for FAU. So if the Owls can hold here, get the football back, FAU by no means out of this football game. Al showing blitz. Miami runs the football. It's Yearby. He's got a seam. Up to the 46-yard line. The stop made by Soro. First down, Miami.
And that's the danger of walking your linebackers up in the gaps. When Miami's offensive line is able to pick them up, you get Yearby. He sees daylight. Nobody is near him until he gets to the 2nd and 3rd level. That's why you have to be careful when you walk those linebackers up in the gap. Miami's offensive interior linemen have not been able to get up to the 2nd level defenders. That's why they've had trouble. But you see Yearby get to the outside, get in the open field, and that's where he's most dangerous. Right here. Once he gets past the 1st level, there are no defenders until he gets to the 3rd level. That's why you have to be careful walking those linebackers up in those gaps.
And it looked like at the end of the play, Hunter Snyder was the player shaken up for FAU. There's the numbers on Yearby. 12 rushes, 68 yards. Now this is Soro who is slow getting up for FAU.
And what's interesting that, about this Miami offense in the second half, they're going a little bit no huddle as well. And they've kind of giving to FAU what FAU's used to giving to everyone else. And it's becoming a war of attrition out here. When you've got the depth that Miami has compared to the depth that FAU has, and they're bringing guys in and out the ball game, I wonder if FAU is prepared for what Miami's bringing to the table.
Andrew Soro played very well for FAU tonight in the secondary. He, along with Raekwon Williams, just given everything, but it's not a good sign for the Owls defense. So Brad Kaya, 1st down and 10 from the 46-yard line. Kaya did not play well in the first half. But in the second half is really starting to pick things up. That play blown dead.
False start. Offense. Number 67. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Now that is Alex Gall, the senior offensive lineman. So that'll push him back to the 41, make it first down and 15.
And Miami's got both tight ends in the game, Herndon and Njoku. Those can be matchup problems for FAU.
Guy with time. Dumps it off to his running back. He is so dangerous as he takes it up to midfield. And it seems like on every play now, as Yearby was the ball carrier, some of the defenders for FAU starting to get up slow. It has been a long and tough night here in South Florida.
Well, you see his ability to stop on a dime and change direction, and that's what you want to see from your backs. That's the ability and the intangibles that you don't see in a lot of backs, right? He stops, turns, spins on a dime, and then he's able to get north and south and get going. And then he covers up the football, protects the football. That's what you want to see if you're Coach Brown. And once again, Kaya taking another hit. As a defender, you want to always continue to put him on the ground. You never want him to get comfortable, because if Kaya gets comfortable, he can start to beat you up in that passing game.
Another player slow getting up. And this is Denzel Whitfield, who now makes it to the sidelines. This game 14-3 at the half, now 24-10. Just over 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. Numbers on Brad Kaya. Has the 2 interceptions, started very slow. Mainly because of the pressure from this Owls defense. Good penetration that time from FAU. Able to hold that run by Yearby to a minimal gain. And it's going to be 3rd down and 4. Big man Leggett was right in the middle of it. Sophomore defensive tackle Stephen Leggett. So 3rd down. Kaya with time to throw. And that's going to be incomplete. That's a great job as Jalen Young read it perfectly, and it forces a punting situation.
And if you're Chris Herndon, you've got to do a better job of spreading out when you turn around towards your quarterback. You can't allow that defender to reach around you. He's big enough where if he spreads out and makes himself a bigger target, he may be able to make that reception. Watch Herndon on this play. He runs out, he gets in front of Young. Now spread out, make yourself big. If he makes himself big, he may even get an interference call because Young got there right as the ball did.
Ball takes a bounce. Miami's going to down it at the 1-yard line. And that was Sheldrick Redwine. He's made some big plays tonight defensively, and there a big one on special teams.
And he's done a really good job filling in for the starter, Adrian Colbert.
Manny Diaz, lots of options to work with this Hurricanes defense. And a tough spot to work with for FAU. This crowd is going to come alive. Driscoll just tries to get some of that back. Maybe got a yard.
And these are the plays as an offensive lineman where you get down in a 4-point stance and you basically bear crawl up out of there. You want to get up under the defenders and uproot them.
Now the rain really coming down here at Hard Rock Stadium. And this does not make it easier for the Owls.
But the great thing about it, none of the fans are getting wet because the way the stadium is constructed.
There's Howell powering his way up to the 5-yard line. Demetrius Jackson rode him down right there, and it'll be 3rd down.
Well, some are on the ends. A lot of the fans aren't getting wet.
Yeah, I think Forrest, right now we're in a pretty good spot, but you see the hole in the roof here at Hard Rock Stadium.
It's like the old Cowboys Stadium, but a lot prettier.
Yeah, with rain like this, 90% of the seats in the stadium are not supposed to get wet, but right now, I think that theory is being challenged just a little bit. It is really coming down.
And I love this as an offensive lineman. This is where it gets down and dirty right here.
Driscoll out of his own end zone, fires complete at the 20-yard line. Woods makes the catch, and he is not easy to bring down. Jaquan Johnson finally was able to wrap him up.
And the advantage that the offensive players have, the skilled players, is
End of the third quarter.
they know where they're going on their routes. The defenders have to be a little bit more careful on their defense.
Still some spring in the step of the Florida Atlantic Owls. They trail by 14 as we head to the fourth quarter. ACC Network Extra from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. First down and 10, 26-yard line for FAU. Jason Driscoll tries to get out of trouble, but he's buried at the 24-yard line, and that is the big man Gerald Willis playing in his first game as a Miami Hurricane.
And Coach Rick told us to watch for Gerald Willis. He's been chomping at the bit to get in the ball game. He's coming off a one-game suspension, the opening game. He's got his opportunities, and he's making the most of it right here, getting pressure on a twist and staying with it and getting to the quarterback Driscoll.
That was the 5th Miami sack on the night. Under pressure again, Driscoll's just got to throw it away, and this could draw the yellow flag. Chad Thomas has wreaked havoc all night.
And I think number 1, Henry Busey was in the vicinity.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. There was an eligible receiver in the area.
And lucky for Driscoll, he was there. He was engaged in a block, but he is an eligible receiver, and he was within 5 yards of that pass.
3rd and 14. Rain continues to come down. Miami showing blitz. Driscoll knows it.
And you see the Miami coaches jumping on the sideline, trying to get note to the defenders.
Barely get the play off. Driscoll asks his receiver to run downfield. Now hits him at the 32. That's Henry Bussey reeling it in right in front of Corn Elder. That is going to be about 5 yards shy of a first down. So, forced 4th and 5. You go for it here.
Hey, they have nothing to lose. They were a 25-point underdog. They played tough. And right now, you're telling your team you believe in them offensively and defensively. Although I don't know how good of an idea it is the way Miami's been moving the football.
Big play here for FAU. Driscoll fires, incomplete. Oh, he had Woods wide open over the middle. It slipped through his hands.
And you gotta squeeze the football, Woods. It's a wet football. I think Driscoll put a lot on this pass. He maybe could have taken a little bit off the pass. He tried to drill it in there. There's nobody in front of Woods. Just lead him on the play. You don't have to put so much on it, but you gotta squeeze that football. You're trying to catch it with your body. You gotta squeeze that ball, especially a wet, heavy football. But right here, I think Driscoll could have taken a little bit off of it because there was no one in front of Woods. He would have been still running right now.
So ball back to Miami at the 31-yard line. Mark Walton is the running back. Walton, been deadly in the second half, takes a shot, bounces it down to the 26. Josh Stashik made the hit for FAU, and now Miami leading by 2 touchdowns, knocking on the door once again.
Well, they're going to take their time right now. They're going to run the football. They're going to try and use their strength and their power and try and overpower this FAU defense.
Rain has really picked up over the last few minutes. Ball's on the ground. Some issues with ball handling for Brad Kaya there, and he jumps on it just in time.
And you look at the center quarterback exchange. Kaya has to get possession of the football. When it's a wet ball, you have to squeeze it. Just like we talked about the receiver Woods on the other side. As the quarterback, you've got to squeeze that football when the center delivers it and make sure you get a handle on it. They're lucky on that play.
Our officials doing everything they can to make sure those balls are dry, but still going to be wet. Interesting situation for both of these teams here in the fourth quarter. Can Miami put this game away? 3rd down and 4, and we got flags.
False start, offense, number 66, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And for offensive line coach Stacey Searles, that is unacceptable. You know the snap count. You cannot jump off sides when it's 3rd and 5 or 6. Now you add yards onto that. Now you make it 3rd and long. You put your team in a very precarious situation by jumping off sides. You cannot do that. Offensive linemen, you got to do a better job when you know the snap count. You can't jump off sides.
That was the 7th penalty for 70 yards against the Hurricanes. There's Kaya's numbers on 3rd down tonight. Clock winding down. They're not going to get this off. And another flag will come down. This will be a delay.
Timeout, Miami. First charge timeout.
Did get the timeout in. Looked like the flag was coming for delay of game. Monsoon here in South Florida. We'll be back. Even though the rains are coming down hard here in Miami, there's still plenty of fans not getting wet because of the brand new roof here at Hard Rock Stadium. 3rd down for the Hurricanes from the 30-yard line. Handed off. This is Walton. Look at the cutback. 20, 15, 5, touchdown.
Ruling on the field is a touchdown.
And Walton continues to show you ability on every touchdown run. You saw the stop and go ability. He stopped in the hole, planted that foot right here, stopped again, bounced it to the outside, and then when he gets to the outside, let's go. And you're not going to catch him. Great job by Walton.
The question is, did he step out of bounds as he was racing down the sidelines? Let's take one more look at it.
No, I don't think so. That hill, you see some green between the hill and the sideline. And you know, to add to the speed and the bouncing ability and the strength, you see balance. This kid has everything that you look for in a running back. And he has been the bell cow for this Miami ball club all afternoon. There's no answer for him from this FAU defense.
Look at the numbers. What a night for Mark Walton. As Jalen Young was slow getting up on the sideline for FAU. He does walk slowly back to the bench. 3 plays, 31 yards on the score. Badgley comes on for the extra point. So a career night for Mark Walton. And you got to wonder, how good can this young man be? 31-10. Mark Walton getting plenty of love by his offensive lineman, Sonny Adagwu. 4 touchdowns rushing on the ground forced. He has had a career best night.
Well, Adagwu knows that they've had some suspect blocking this evening, and Walton has done a good job of saving them. He's made big plays. Running backs have a tendency of making offensive linemen look good, just like scrambling quarterbacks can make offensive linemen look good.
Did you ever have to make those apologies to Sean Jackson and Warwick Dunn and Rock Preston back in the day?
All the time. You know, you play against great defenses, you're not going to have, it's not going to be your day every day, but just like those guys, you know, you create opportunities for them in certain ball games. So it goes hand in hand. And as an offensive lineman, you want to make sure your backs know you appreciate them. So you go and you let them know, you pat them on the back. But also you expect a sandwich, you know, on the way to the game or, you know, after the game. You know, you expect them to buy you sandwiches and all that good stuff. So that might be him throwing a bone to Walton.
Drew Felios, former Florida State offensive lineman, Forrest Connolly. Great to have you with us tonight here at Hard Rock Stadium. In a fun football game. FAU has fought hard, but Miami pulling away here late. Driscoll back on the field, hands off to his running back, Buddy Howell. And he has got it across the 25. He'll be buried right there.
And one thing we haven't talked about tonight, Drew, is these young linebackers, the three true freshmen, Michael Pinckney, Shaq Quarterman, Zach McLeod. How often do you get three true freshmen as your starting linebacker core?
And that rarely ever happens. Driscoll overthrows this one, looking for Woods. You remember back in 1993 when Ray Lewis came on campus as a freshman, a true freshman, and the rest was history. But these young linebackers, there's three of them this year.
Well, when you look at these guys, you know, Miami fans hope that they develop into what they had at one time. I mean, you had Smith, Barrow, Armstead, those three guys that were just bell cows across the second level of that defense. If these three guys can develop into that, look out for this Miami defense for the next 3 to 4 years.
Third down, and FAU needs 8. Go bunch formation on the left side. Driscoll can't get out of the trouble zone as he's taken down. Jaquan Johnson was there. Michael Pinckney, also one of those freshman linebackers, making things really difficult.
Well, right now, Miami can pin their ears back and come after the quarterback. They know that FAU has to throw the football to try and get back into this ball game. You see him right here. He's got pressure from the outside. He tries to move around and get more space, and they're just squeezing down on him.
That's the 11th tackle for loss by this Miami defense. You mentioned those freshman linebackers. They came on campus back in January, so they got the early start. But last week, Manny Diaz said, whenever we suited up against FAMU, we did not know how they were going to react to playing under the lights. So far, so good. First down for the Hurricanes from their own 24, leading by 21 when we return. Just under 12 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Look at the state-of-the-art seating here at Hard Rock Stadium. Big Foe, if I see you at an NFL game, I bet you're going to be sitting in one of these seats.
Absolutely. I want to be in the recliner, sitting back, ordering food, watching the game, looking at the replays on the screen right in front of me.
Miami hands it off to Yearby, and he'll take it up to the 27-yard line, picked up 2 yards. It's amazing the way that they're doing it at the next level, just enhancing the fan experience. Better seats, TV screens, and they're making all these upgrades too in some of these state-of-the-art stadiums. These video boards, we got a couple new ones in Tampa, at Raymond James Stadium, here at Hard Rock Stadium. Last week I was at UCF at Bright House Network Stadium, a brand new video board there.
Well, the experience creates interest, and that's what you want to do. You want to create interest in the program. When the recruits come in and they see this, they want to play in stadiums like that. So it's a part of selling the program. It's a whole bit of the process. You want to grow your program. You want to mature your program. You want to be favorable.
Well, it's funny because got to tell our viewers, Big Forrest Connolly and I were walking through the Miami football offices yesterday. And Forrest, I saw a little bit of a twinkle in your eye.
After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, number 3. This is his first unsportsmanlike foul. Third down.
That's going to be on Coley as they'll push it back there. But Forrest, I think you're a proud Florida State Seminole, but I think there's part of you that thought what could have been if you one day could have committed to Miami back in the day. How did that work out?
Well, I strongly considered Miami. Actually, on my official, I was supposed to take an official visit, and I committed to Florida State on that day because I felt like if I would have come down, I would have committed to Miami because I loved him. Bernard Clark was one of my favorite players, the old linebacker from Miami. The way he played, the tenacity that he played with, and I was an offensive player, but I just loved how they played, and I loved that nastiness about them. And I just like Florida State as well, but you know, it's one of those things where you think, what if? But I had a great career at Florida State, and I wouldn't give anything back.
Yearby takes it up near the 25-yard line. Jalen Young makes the tackle. You played during years when Miami won a national title. Also Florida State. You were there when Charlie Ward and company won a national championship in 1993. Those were the good old days in college football.
Well, I'll tell you, interesting note. Bob Carmelowitz, the old defensive line coach of Miami, was my recruiter at the time. And when I told him I was going to go to Florida State, he said, hey, you're going to miss out on winning the national championship. And they won it my true freshman year at Florida State, and I was sick. And, you know, so when I finally got mine 2 years later, I was able to say, okay, I made the right decision.
Fair catch called for by Bussey. Flag comes down there at the 30, so we'll check this one out. So the rain has subsided for the moment. Still maybe a light drizzle, but not much coming down.
Personal foul, receiving team. Number 24 was blocking out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And this is where the officials have to take control because it's getting a little chippy. You've got the FAU team that is a little bit upset. They were in this ball game early. It started to get away from them. You're getting towards the end of the ball game, so you have to take control of the ball game. As a coach, you want to warn your players, hey, keep it between the whistles. You know, stay upright. Don't do anything dirty because we have to move on to the next game next week, and we don't need you getting disqualified from this game and missing time next week.
Been a long night for Jason Driscoll. He is hung in there for the Owls. First down from the 16-yard line. 4 wideouts in the game. Driscoll winds up and fires. Woods has had a pretty solid night for FAU. He's got the 24 for an 8-yard pickup. So Woods, the junior out of Jacksonville, racking up the catches. This one taken up to the 25-yard line. So I mentioned Woods, 8 catches, 116 yards for the young man from Jacksonville, a team captain. They said that they were waiting for a breakout game from Caleb Woods. That, according to Coach Trickett and Coach Partridge, I think tonight has been that night. This is Howell pushing forward and should be enough for a first down. Norton made the tackle.
And this is a part of the film that coaches look at especially. Miami's got this game in hand, but they want to see how their defensive players respond. Are they going to continue to play hard? Just like the offensive coaches from FAU, they want to see what type of heart their players have.
Keep it on the ground. Howell is a tough runner. Continuing to grind it out. Takes it up to the 34. Zach McLeod made the tackle. FAU trying to hurry things up. Howell runs into his own man that time, and Jamal Carter rides him to the turf. And I'll say one thing. When we came into this stadium earlier today, did not realize how hot it gets here in this stadium and in this area, but still I don't think as hot as it was in that Orange Bowl back in the day.
But it was something different about playing in the Orange Bowl. The whole mystique of it all.
Over 58,000 here tonight. Another catch by Woods. He's got 9 on the evening, almost into double figures, and a first down before being ridden out by McLeod. Now in that old Orange Bowl site, now the baseball stadium. Had a chance to drive by it yesterday, and boy, what a facility that is.
You see Driscoll doing a good job of finding his receiver doing a good job of getting possession of the football and getting the first down.
Driscoll now play action. Trying to get out of the pocket, fires incomplete. Woods had it on his fingertips but couldn't squeeze it, and now a second down coming up.
And dangerous pass by Driscoll. He's sprinting outside, which is giving him more time. But you got to remember, you got to take something off that ball. That ball is wet, so it's going to slip through the receiver's hands if he's not able to squeeze it.
Howell has a big touchdown run tonight of 38 yards. Picks up 4 there. McLeod tackles him at the 42. Now 20 carries for Greg Buddy Howell at Coral Gables High School, making his homecoming here tonight. Third down. Driscoll complete. Short of a first down, though. It'll be 4th and 2.
And I think they'll go for it. And these are teaching moments for coaches. You can't simulate game situations as well as, the actual game happening. So this is a good teaching moment, and this is a good teaching moment for the coach with some of his younger players, as well as these young linebackers from Miami.
1 for 2 on 4th down tonight for FAU. In motion is Woods. Driscoll spins around to the right, and he's going to fire incomplete. So Miami's defense will stand, and Manny Diaz is out on the field, fired up, high-fiving his troops.
And Michael Pinckney with great pressure on that play.
31-10. Hurricanes take over with 4.5 minutes to play. Time for our Capital One Impact Performance of the Night. And I think no doubt on this one, it is all Mark Walton.
Well, he's shown you stop and go ability. He's shown you change of direction. He's shown you balance. He's shown you power. He's shown you everything that you want to see in the back. You see the spin move right there. Once again, the power and thrusting himself over the goal line. Here, the stop and go, the stutter step, around the edge, the speed, and then the balance to stay in bounds and get to the end zone. Great evening by Mark Walton.
Oh, first down for Miami. Walton is not done. Look at the cutback. Man, he can stop on a dime. Picked up nearly 8 yards there, down to the 38. Gerard Ward, the tackle for FAU.
And I mean, you see right here the jump cut. He gets to the hole right here, and he stops and jump cut right to the inside and gets about 9 more yards. You can't teach that. That's just natural ability.
Surprised he's still in the game here, leading by 21.
A little bit surprised. I'm surprised we haven't seen Gus Edwards tonight.
Second down and short. Feed Walton one more time. He'll just surge forward, pick up a first down for Miami. Josh Kendall, the tackle for the Owls. Yeah, Gus Edwards, the third running back for the Hurricanes. They call him Gus the Bus. Walton has gotten most of the carries tonight. Yearby has also played, but Edwards is the guy that forced. I know you want to see because he is 230 pounds of freight train coming right at you.
Well, number 7 is the type of back that you play in a weather game, and this is one of those weather games. It's slippery, it's wet out there, and with his size and his ability to run over would-be tacklers, I expected to see a little bit more of him when the second half started.
Instead, it's Yearby. And Yearby to the 27. Stashik tripped him up there. So 21 points, Miami leading. Keep in mind the line on this was 25 points. Not like we're keeping track, but I'm sure several college football fans are. So plenty still interested in the final score. 2nd and 2 now. Kaya. Looks like Miami will keep things on the ground. Yearby shakes off a tackle at the 20, and now a foot race. Knocked out of bounds near the 5-yard line. Raekwon Williams saved a touchdown.
And although he's 5'9", 200 pounds, Yearby has scat back ability with his ability to bounce it inside and bounce it outside. And when he gets to the edge, not too many people are going to catch him getting around the corner. Good job by Yearby, finding the lane and getting to the outside.
First and goal, Hurricanes. Under 2 minutes to play now. So Joe Yearby staying in the game. You know he wants to punch another one in. And as he takes it to the 2, Hunter Snyder, a good job getting penetration. So Yearby and Walton both over 100 yards. I think as we see this Hurricanes team now move toward the first third and middle part of the season, I think as good as these guys run, I think it's going to be as good as Miami performs this year. Not the best night for Brad Kaya. But he did play much better in the second half. Miami has scored 4 of 5 times in the red zone tonight. Hand it off one more time, and it's a touchdown.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is just goal line textbook, hard-nosed power football right here. Yearby puts his head down and keeps his feet churning and gets across the zone. And you see the lead block, the big fella once again leading the way for Yearby.
Six plays, 46 yards. 38-10 Forrest. I got to ask you a situation like that. Miami could have killed the clock there. Instead, they pounded forward, pick up the touchdown. No harm done there as far as the sportsmanship.
Well, they haven't played as well as they would have liked to, and you want to get success. You want to end this game with success. You're still developing a new offense. You've got a new scheme. You've got a new coach, a new style of coaching, a new style of play. Kaya hasn't played as well as you would like him to. The offensive line hasn't played as well, but you want to bank your hat on something. You want to feel good coming out of this ball game.
And look at what Miami has to deal with in the weeks to come. Next week, got to head up to Appalachian State, Boone, North Carolina, to deal with the Mountaineers. That is not an easy game.
Well,
then
I think
at Georgia Tech.
The gauntlet is Florida State, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and at Notre Dame. That, to me, is the gauntlet of their series. If they can get through that 4 games with at least a 3-1 record, maybe 4-0, who knows? But I think, you don't want to be 2-2 or 1-3. That is a tough stretch for any ball club.
Yeah, that game next week, 3:30 on ESPN. Forrest, we've been to Boone, North Carolina. What can the Hurricanes and Hurricanes fans expect next week?
A different atmosphere. It'll be jam-packed, the biggest game in Boone, North Carolina, the biggest game at Appalachian State history. You've got the University of Miami Hurricanes coming to town. It's an atmosphere that a lot of these players probably have never seen, going up in the mountains to play a ball game against a very tough, very game Sunbelt team in Appalachian State. Nobody wants to play those guys right now.
Appalachian State, defending Sunbelt Conference champions, nearly upset Tennessee a week ago. So this the final series for FAU, and Miami's defense continues to feast. Credit what they have done. Only allowed 1 touchdown over the past 2 games. But Florida Atlantic, definitely nothing to hang their hats about tonight as Coach Mark Richt looks on. Just to note, Appalachian State did win today, 31-7 over Old Dominion. So they'll be 1-1 heading into that contest in 7 days. Under 20 seconds to play, 2nd and 14. Jason Driscoll has showed some heart tonight. We'll toss this one out of bounds and incomplete. Now 10 seconds on the clock. And for Charlie Partridge, got a lot of things working well in Boca Raton. I really like the future of this program, and really a pleasure to talk to him this week.
Well, he's got a plan in place. He's going to continue to recruit his type of players, build from within, build with the surrounding schools and the surrounding players in this South Florida area. And I think this team will be a team in the future to be reckoned with. Daniel
Parr in at quarterback for FAU, and he goes down, and that will be the final play of the evening. Coach Mark Richt improves to 2-0 in his young season for Miami Hurricanes football. 38-10 final score. Forrest, Hurricanes definitely earned this one tonight.
Yes, they did. They played a tough-nosed ball club in FAU. FAU came and played to win, and you saw early they had Miami second-guessing themselves. I think right now Miami has to go back and look at their offensive line play. They've got to get that together, because as the schedule gets tougher, Brad Kaya's going to have to be able to pass the football.
So Miami improves to 2-0. FAU falls to 1-1.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hurricanes getting ready to head to Boone, North Carolina in 1 week. So for Forrest Connolly and our fantastic ESPN crew here in Miami Gardens, I'm Drew Felios saying so long, where the final score is Miami 38, FAU 10. To watch this game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Have a terrific weekend.